stay in Alaska with John and Christy is now a wonderful memory. And the last 2.5 weeks were action-packed with fun and people. Friends of John and Christy from California arrived on Seabreeze, along with their children, for a week's stay. There were now 12 of us, and never a dull moment. Luckily, they brought the sunshine with them and got to enjoy Sailboat Cove in its full glory. The center of life for our guests revolved around the beach. There was fishing from both the kayaks and shore, beach walks, and always a fire on the beach in the evening. Meals were cooked over the fire, and it made me realize how much we had missed by falling into the routine of dinner and a movie up at the house each evening. It was fabulous. In the last video, I was wearing a head net, and here Kelly is wearing one. While Sailboat Cove does not have many mosquitoes, this year was a super bad year for biting black flies, even around the fire. The evenings were still long with plenty of sunlight. One fine day, the salmon net and long line were put out, and after dinner, while Lee and I tended the fire, the rest checked the net. The salmon had arrived and had hit the net in abundance. In addition, there were 5 halibut hooked on the long line. Retrieving all that fish took time, and it was well after 11 when the last halibut was brought ashore.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you.
Lee rigged an overhead light, and John cleaned and filleted the fish, beginning with the salmon. There were reds, pinks, and even a dog salmon. Then the halibut. Halibut, which swim sideways, are dark on top to blend in well with the bottom, and pale underneath. 2 of the halibut, when measured from tip to tail, were calculated to weigh approximately 100 pounds each. With the large quantity of fish to clean, it was not until after 2 a.m. that we got up to the house. For our guests' last dinner, John made his traditional fish fry dinner with a blind salmon tasting, along with potatoes, zucchini, and onion rings. For the tasting, we had all 5 Alaskan salmon to sample: king, red, silver, pink, and dog. This year's results were mixed, with red garnering the most votes. I always prefer the dog, our chum salmon.
Okay, left to right.
In my quest to learn how to identify different salmon.
Oh, what's this?
What?
Okay. Oh my gosh. You got
What?
it. It's a chum salmon.
John explains the physical characteristics of chum.
Chum salmon, they have the purple stripes. They get the purple stripes on their sides, and then they have silver on the tip of their tail.
Oh, okay.
They also have a fairly large pupil, and they have pink flesh. Red flesh of a red salmon.
Oh, okay. But it's darker than a pink salmon.
Yeah, a bright chum is
I like it because of its mild taste and chewy texture. However, it does have to be fresh caught. If it is older, it tastes fishy. Our sunny skies disappeared, and once again, the gloomy weather returned just as our guests were leaving. Seabreeze arrived, and it was with sad hearts that we all said goodbye. In our short time together, we made many happy memories and have newfound friends. The beach was once again deserted and no longer rang with children's voices and laughter. And it was time to start thinking about our own departure. But first, there were more fish to smoke. On our first batch this year, John experimented making horizontal cuts across the thick portion of the fillet to hasten the drying and smoking process. He found, though, that when we packaged the fish, the cuts led to oddly shaped packages and portions. On our last batch, he went back to making the vertical cut. However, he noted that he should have made the vertical cuts prior to salting the fish, not after, as we did have a very thick fillet mold and go bad on us. During our stay, I also observed some of John's other clever experiments and tricks that helped make life a little easier, such as using the chassis of a defunct lawnmower to fashion a cart for his welder. And when the tractor arrived at Sailboat Cove many years ago, it opened great possibilities for thinking outside the box, so to speak. The forklift prongs that attach to the front bucket are an extra accessory, and taking advantage of the forklift capability, John built a box with an open end around a wood pallet. This allows unwieldy items to be transported that ordinarily would fall out of the front bucket. And looking at the much-used box, it won't be long before John has to build a new one. Other innovations John frequently uses are the welded-on ball hitch on the shovel for moving trailers, and this hook, which I saw in use multiple times. Something as simple as the looped-on tire for cushioning while pushing the skiff into deeper water. And one of the niftiest tips I saw was the simple removal of a portion of the handle on the funnel to allow it to be snapped onto the fuel container, thereby ensuring it is always handy for clean pours.
You got something in your blood.
On a nice day, we shared a meal and said goodbye to Jean and Barb, reminiscing about fun times together and life in the neighborhood. On Friday, before our Monday departure, Blondie found herself on the way into Kodiak to visit the vet. Alaska Airlines requires a veterinarian health certificate issued within 10 days of flight.
Blondie, Blondie, Blondie. You're a good girl.
On the sad day of leaving Sailboat Cove and Christy and John, the weather was marginal. Rather than battle the large swells we would face on the southeastern side of Kodiak Island, John elected to take us around the northeastern side to Anton Larsen Bay. With the protection of Spruce Island, the swells were minimized, and on the way we encountered numerous salmon seiners, whose nets, with Christy's help, John dodged. We arrived at the new dock where we were met by Marty, whose kindness we very much appreciate. And with his help, Blondie's crate was assembled at the airport, and we were on our way. Within 2 days of our arrival in Northern California, we were on a marathon trip of 2,000 miles in 52 hours to meet our daughters and son-in-law in Wisconsin's North Woods.
Shall we look around?
This is Blondie's second favorite place in the world, and once we hit the driveway, she knew exactly where she was. From here, we will continue to Ohio before turning west and eventually to Guaymas in early October. While we have been north, La Brisa has been through some rather difficult weather. a Chubasco that wreaked havoc in Guaymas, and downpours from Hurricane Hilary. All is well so far. We will let you know when we are heading south. So, until then,